There is a Japanese word, wabi-sabi, for the beauty of things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. A cracked tea bowl, mended with gold. A cherry blossom that lasts a single week. That single idea will tell you more about Japan than any list of facts. Welcome back to Cultures of the World. Today we are spending some time with Japan, an island nation in the Western Pacific that is roughly the size of California, holds about 125 million people, and has spent the last few centuries quietly refining everything it touches into something that the rest of the world eventually wants to copy. Let's begin with the shape of the place. Japan is an archipelago of about 14,000 islands. 4 of those are big enough to hold almost everyone, Honshu, the largest, where Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka sit. Hokkaido, the northern one, cold and forested. Kyushu, the southwest, warmer and closer to the Asian mainland. And Shikoku, the smallest, the quiet one. Most of the rest are dots in the sea. About 2/3 of the country is mountainous and densely forested. People live mostly in the narrow coastal plains and the river valleys between the mountains. That single geographic fact has shaped almost everything else. Land is scarce, so gardens are small, so food is plated with extraordinary care, so everything is made compact, efficient, and beautiful. Japan has one of the oldest continuously reigning monarchies in the world. The imperial line, by tradition, stretches back over 2,600 years. Not always to the same family in the modern sense, but as a single unbroken chain of emperors and empresses going further into the past than written history of most of the rest of the world. Now, the language. Japanese is written in 3 scripts at once. There is a kanji, characters borrowed from Chinese centuries ago, used for the roots of most words. There is hiragana, a flowing, rounded syllabary, used for grammar and Japanese origin words. And there is a katakana, its angular cousin, used mostly for borrowed foreign words and for emphasis. A sentence in Japanese can use all 3 scripts, sometimes within a single sentence, in a way that's perfectly natural to read once you know it. Spoken Japanese, in contrast, is wonderfully simple in its building blocks. There are only 5 vowels, I, U, E, O. There are no tones, the way there are in Mandarin or Vietnamese. The sound system is gentle, even, almost musical. So let me teach you a few phrases. I want you to be able to walk into a quiet Tokyo morning and say hello. The first one, good morning, in Japanese, ohayo gozaimasu. The U at the end of masu is almost silent. Listen carefully. Ohayo gozaimasu. Ohayo gozaimasu. You'll hear this dozens of times a day in Japan. From the convenience store cashier when you walk in at 7 a.m. from the train station attendant. From your hosts. It is the standard, polite, warm morning greeting. Now, thank you. The version you want to learn, the polite one, is arigato gozaimasu. Same gozaimasu you just learned, attached to a different word. Arigato gozaimasu. Arigato gozaimasu. And here is one of my favorite phrases in any language. Before you eat, before you take the first bite of a meal, you say, Itadakimasu. Itadakimasu. It does not have a clean English translation. The closest is I humbly receive. But it is more than that. It is a moment of acknowledgement to the cook who prepared the food, to the farmer who grew the rice, to the fish, the chicken, the vegetable that gave its life, to everyone whose work all the way back made this meal possible. Before you eat, you bow your head and you say it, Itadakimasu, and then you eat. One last phrase, possibly the most useful single word in Japanese, sumimasen. It is a kind of all-purpose polite word. It means excuse me. It means I am sorry to bother you. It means thank you, you really shouldn't have. It works whether you are squeezing past somebody on a train, getting a waiter's attention, or apologizing for being slightly late. Here it is. Sumimasen. Sumimasen. Carry those 4 words with you: Ohayo gozaimasu, arigato gozaimasu, itadakimasu, sumimasen, and you have most of what you need to be a gracious guest in Japan. Now, food. The center of any Japanese meal is rice. In fact, the word for cooked rice, gohan, is also the everyday word for meal. A traditional Japanese breakfast might be a bowl of gohan, a small grilled fish, miso soup, some pickles, a raw or soft-boiled egg, and tea. A traditional dinner is built the same way: rice at the center, a couple of small dishes around it, soup, pickles, tea. Japanese food is deeply about freshness and seasonality. There is a word, kisetsu, for the seasons, and Japanese cooks track them with extraordinary precision. The traditional Japanese calendar divides the year into 72 micro-seasons, each about 5 days long. Each micro-season has its own name, its own foods, its own flowers. There is a micro-season for the swallows arrive, a micro-season for the bamboo shoots break the ground, a micro-season for first chilly winds blow. A culture that pays this kind of attention to time will, of course, eat strawberries only in May. Now, religion and culture. Japan is the home of Shinto, the indigenous religion of mountain spirits, household kami, shrine bells, and small offerings to the rocks and trees and rivers that are considered to have their own presence. Shinto is everywhere. Walk past any small Japanese town and you will see the bright red wooden gate, the etari, that marks the entrance to a shrine. Buddhism arrived in Japan around the 6th century from Korea and China, and it did not replace Shinto. The two religions just settled in, side by side. Today, most Japanese families use both. Shinto for births, for weddings, for the new year. Buddhism for funerals, for memorial days, for the rites of the ancestors. Almost no one thinks of this as strange. It is just how things are. This brings me to the wonder moment of today's episode, the kinetsugi. There is a Japanese craft called kinetsugi, golden joinery. When a precious bowl breaks, a tea bowl, a rice bowl, a porcelain dish, instead of throwing it away, instead of even trying to hide the damage, the artisan glues the pieces back together with lacquer that has been mixed with powdered gold. The cracks become luminous golden veins. The mended bowl is not just usable again. It is more beautiful than it was before it broke. It is more valuable. The idea behind kinetsugi is the idea behind wabi-sabi, the word we started with. The history of a thing is part of its beauty, including the parts where it shattered, including the cracks, including the parts that had to be glued back together. There is, I think, something almost unbearably kind about that as a worldview. The cracks are not a defect to hide. They are a part of the story. They are why the bowl is the bowl it is now, and not some other bowl. Japan rewards every minute you give it. The food, the language, the shrines, the crowded gentle bow of someone making space for you on a Tokyo train, the seasons tracked at 5-day intervals, the bowls fixed with gold. Next time, we will travel to a part of Southeast Asia where 3 cultures share a single block, where breakfast can be Indian, lunch can be Chinese, and dinner can be Malay, and the food courts are run by the government and recognized by UNESCO. We will be in Malaysia and Singapore. Until then, if you remember one thing from today, let it be itadakimasu. The next time you sit down to eat, before you take the first bite, take a single breath. Acknowledge the meal. Acknowledge everyone who made it possible. Itadakimasu. Sayonara, goodbye for now.